Hey guys, so today I'm gonna just sit down, just have a quick chat with you, especially if you're researching about this company or just marketing companies in general. The company that I'm gonna be specifically talking about is Amway, and just my whole journey with them. I probably was with the company for about a little over a year, and it was just weird, you guys. I really wish that when I was in this process that I could have had found a video like this specifically cautioning me against this company. I know that there are like tons of other multi-marketing companies out there, and they all run differently and blah 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 blah. Like, no, they're all the same. Like, and I really wish someone would have told me that. Obviously, like, my mom and my parents, like, they were like, like, be careful, but they kind of let me do my thing and spread my wings. And like, guys, I fell. I spread those wings and I flopped and I fell straight on my face. So let's just get right into it. So I was shopping around in Target with my mom, and this lady approaches me, and I noticed her because she was being kind of loud. So I turned to look at her, and she was asking one of the employees something about where something is, whatever, I don't care. And I went on my merry way, and I'm by like the makeup area, and then I hear, excuse me, do I know you? Like in a nice way, not like, excuse me. It was like, excuse me, do I know you? Like, you seem very familiar. And I turned around and I'm like, no, sorry, I've never seen you around before. And it's just like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she like goes to walk away, but then she comes back and she's like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 18 going on 19 pretty soon. And she's like, oh, okay, like, is that your mom? Because like my mom was like kind of near me, and she was like, who is this lady talking to my daughter? It was kind of creepy. I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay, like, and then she just started like asking me questions, and I like kept answering them, trying to be polite, but also like, I don't know, I feel like you don't get approached by people anymore. So I don't know, I was just kind of like, I was just at Target, like, doing my own thing, and I just was not expecting an interaction out of it, like, aside from, like, the greeter or the cashier. Anyway, so she's like, oh, you seem like the right age, and like, I told her I was working in retail, and you have, customer experience, and, my friend is starting this company, and, she's looking for young people to get it going or whatever. And I was at a point in my life, guys, where I was over freaking like retail. Like, I could not, it was just like too much. Like, that can be another video in itself, but like, the management was like literally crazy. Like, there were so many weird experiences going on where I was like, this is not the place that I want to be at for any longer than what I have to be. So when she told me that, I was super excited because, yeah, I was on the lookout. I wanted to find something that was flexible while I was still going to school and had flexible hours. And working in retail, it was just getting really hard because they wanted to schedule me like every single day, morning, evening, and night. And I'm like, guys, like, I'm a student, like, I can't be here all the time. Anyway, so when she approached me, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. That's cool. Great. So, I gave her my number, which I regret now. Gave her my number, and she sent me like a link, and she was like, oh, like, this is the company that I'm telling you about, like, these are, so and so, and they're gonna, they're kind of explaining what the company's gonna be all about. So I said, okay, and I clicked on the link, and it was like these two young people around, like, my same age at the time, and they were, explaining how, like, this company, is like so great and blah 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 blah. And the one thing too that I will say, it was very vague, and it was like selling you on like a lifestyle rather than what the heck like this company was all about. But she told me that she was with a company, it was like So Solutions, so it's not a legit. So it was like So Solutions, and I was like, so I looked it up and I couldn't find anything about it. So then I went on LinkedIn and I found like the lady who was running it, but like, she didn't really even have that many connections, and it's not like I'm like, ooh, shouldn't have that many connections, but it was just kind of weird off the bat, and I wish I would have listened to my gut, but I didn't. So anyway, I couldn't find anything on this company, and then she sends me this link, and it was like super vague and weird. And so here are the two things. So she approached a complete stranger at Target. Like, I'm doing my own thing. I just spit, sorry. I'm doing my own thing, and this like person comes up to me, you know, asking me all these questions and basically recruiting me. Then she sends me a link that was super vague, and it's not telling me exactly what it is. The third thing is the company that she told me, what is this? Oh my God. The company that she told me the name was, which was Blank Solutions. And when I looked it up, there was nothing about the company. So it was just like a fake name. So approached me in public. I was a complete stranger to her, sends me a link, it's completely vague about the whole thing, gives me a fake name for what this company is, like still beating around the bush. So going back to like the second one, vague, beating around the bush, not telling you exactly what it's about. So these are just like flags for you guys to kind of like, if you have been approached. So anyway, she ends up inviting me to this meeting. So it was going to be held in the evening, like evening to night. Like it started at like 7 or 8 o'clock, which was late. And she was like, yeah, like we just like realized that people are super busy, and this just seems to be like the best time frame that works with like the busy schedules. They were going to be meeting at a hotel that was local in the area. And I was like, okay, like that's weird, but that's, you know, maybe they don't have their own space yet, like they're starting off, like they're kind of like a Kickstarter company, like, and guys, I was excited. Once again, I was excited. I was like out of high school, I had been working my retail job for a while now, like I wanted to be a part of something, and like this seemed like a cool opportunity, even though I didn't know what the heck it was. Also, I'm sorry if I talk a lot with my hands, it's just what it is. Basically I arrive at this hotel, and here's the thing, at the time I didn't have a car of my own, so I had to share it with my mom, and I obviously still lived with my mom because I went to community college. I didn't go away to school. So my mom was letting me use her car, but because it was the first time, like she was nervous to just drop off her daughter at a hotel, so she like dropped me off and like waited for me around the area. And they told me that the meeting was going to be from like 7 to like 9 or whatever. It went on for a while. So here's what awaited me when I went to this meeting of young entrepreneurs, whatever. So I walk in, and it's like in the conference like hall. So this isn't a small company to begin with. So I go in, and what was weird about it too was that there was another like multi-marketing company meeting next door. So it was like 2 conference rooms that both fit like, you know, about, I don't know, 50 to 70 people. And, you know, I walk in and I see signs for Amway, and I see signs for this other company that I can't remember what the name of that company was. But I walk in and I'm like, oh no. And I had heard about the other company, which I can't remember. They do something along the lines of like, they work with like your gas bill, and I don't know, it's something weird, it's something sketchy too. And my mom had been approached by that other company before, so I kind of knew a little bit about them, and I was like, no, that's super sketch. But then as I'm making my way and I'm seeing Amway, and I'm seeing kind of like the same setup, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, no, don't tell me that like I literally just got like bamboozled and I'm about to have to sit through this like meeting where they're like literally selling you on like a lifestyle. So I was like, ah, shoot. So anyway, I go in, and she sees me, and she's like, oh hi, like Paula, like I'm over here. And you know, she goes in and she checks in, and she pays $10 because that was like the entrance fee or whatever. And I'm like, what the heck? And she's like, oh, she's with me. And the girl was like, oh, like, welcome. The girl who was, like, receiving the money. She's like, oh, welcome. And, like, let me just write down your name. Like, the first time is free to come. And then, you know, as you keep coming back, like, you have to pay, like, $10. I'm like, what the heck? What kind of company is this? So I looked at her, and I'm like, what? I was a little, like, already, like, on guard because, A, she told me the company's name was called So-and-so Solutions, and that it was ran by, you know, one person, and they were gonna start up. And I'm walking in and I'm seeing Amway, and then she's handing over money to enter this conference hall, this meeting that I was invited to, and they're telling me that I'm gonna have to be paying in the future, and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. So I went in and I sat through a 3-hour-long meeting, and it was, I mean, they're great at what they do. They really sell you on it. And I was like super skeptical. So here's the thing. I went to about 4 meetings until I caved in and finally like bought my own starter package. And that's where I like kick myself, because I was really holding out, and I was like, something in me kept telling me like, don't do it, don't do it. But then like, as you're sitting there and you're seeing like all these people like be super like energetic and like they all believe in something, and you start to like get that like mob mentality. You're like, yeah, like so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And so I bought my starter package for like $200, and then to like build the website it was like another $100 or something like that. So it was like $300 right there. I only had a retail job. I didn't really have a lot of money to just be throwing and spending. And I was a college student, so like I didn't have this money to be spending. But they were like, no, like you have to like, you know, spend money to make money, like blah, blah, blah. So this is where I got very cultish. It was very weird. So the way Amway was set up was you have like the, you know, normal, like, so you have like, okay, so you have like the team leader, right? And it's a pyramid thing. It's a team leader. So let's call her, I don't know, let's call her Laura. So Laura was the team leader, and actually that's the person that I don't know why I'm doing this, but anyway. So Laura was the team leader, and then under her was the girl who approached me at Target, and then like her other top seller, and then under the girl who approached me at Target was me, and then her team. So it's a pyramid. It's a freaking pyramid. So it started to get really weird, because the girl who had approached me, like I was starting to like begin like a friendship with her, and you know, she was like mentoring me, so like I was a lot closer to her obviously than any other like people on the team. But you know, she started like to tell me things like, yeah, like we're really trying to get Laura to the diamond level so that she can finally start having a family, and she's been wanting to have a family, so like we're really working really hard to get her there. And okay, here's where I have a problem with that. Like, that is a lot of pressure on an 18-year-old kid fresh out of high school. Like, I had absolutely zero idea why someone was telling me that I basically needed to kick it into high gear so that this Laura person that I really wasn't having any relationship with could make it to diamond level, so that then she could basically retire and finally start having kids. And the thing that was like weird about that was that I'm not saying that you can't have kids when you're older, but it's definitely harder to do so. And she was like in her like late 30s to early 40s, this Laura person, and I'm like, is she seriously waiting on all of us to like get her to diamond level to be able to start a family? Because that like seems very risky when, I don't know, it was just really crazy. So, and the way they had these meetings set up, so like I had to like, I don't know, like invite at least like 5 people every week to make it to these meetings, and you had to keep paying. So it was like every week I was showing up to these meetings, and I had to keep handing over like $10 every week, which like it adds up, you guys. And then not to mention my starter kit, and then my starter products, which was like now in like the, I don't know, like $500 range, you know, like with all the stuff that I had put into this company. And the way that this was set up was that you had, they had like all the people that, you know, were beginners. I forgot what the name was. It was like a few years ago, but all the beginners with their guests that they invited, and then they had this speaker guy, and then to the side of the speakers they had like 2 rows of chairs, so it was kind of like a square, if that makes sense. So there was like people in all the room, but basically what that layout was that like to the left it was the sophomore league, and to the right of him was the senior league, and those are the people that are already like starting to be able to like retire, and like a month they're making like, I don't know, like thousands of dollars and blah 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 blah. So it was kind of like you want to be sitting there, like you want to be sitting to the left or to the right of the speaker, because that's like, you know, you made it. So I'm just gonna throw their names out there because, like, I think they're shady as heck. But the team leaders of this whole, like, the team leaders of this whole thing, their names were Greg and Jackie. And Greg and Jackie were idolized by every single person there. This is like the cult mentality that I'm telling you about. People were like so enamored by Greg and Jackie, and like they would literally like hype you up, like, oh, Greg and Jackie are going to, you know, they're gonna spare some time to come and like talk to us. And like my one like mentor person was like, okay, when you talk to Greg and Jackie, like keep it short, but like really take in what they're telling you. And like just like super like they're two people that made it in this business, which is great. It's fine. Like I'm glad they worked the system, whatever. But like how everybody was acting towards them, like you would have thought like Jesus walked in that room and was just like, you know, blessing everyone. Like it was just so weird. I had never experienced that in my life. So now moving forward, they did this whole conference thing, and it was like 2 nights or 3 nights in the city, and they like, I mean, we were like sardined in a room. Once again, I'm spending money to go to this conference. Like to go to this conference was like, it was like $100-something ticket. It was like $150 or something like that. And then to stay at a room, there we go, like another like $50 or something like per night, even though we were splitting it up with like our other teammates. And I had to take time off work. Fortunately, life is not fair, and I just lost a ton of footage. But anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is that I spent a lot of money to get to this conference, and for very little payoff. And while I was there, I invited a friend to spend the weekend with me as well, because she was kind of on the fritz of joining the company, and she was like, well, I'm going to give this a go. And she ended up befriending some other people from other teams, and my mentor pulled me aside, and she said that that wasn't allowed, that we can't be friends with other people from other teams because they're basically competition. And that's kind of when I started to shut down, and I was like, you know, this is weird. I don't understand this. Like, in a corporation, you have friends who are coworkers, and that's just what it is. Like, it's not a big deal. It's like not that serious. But apparently it was a huge thing here, because apparently Laura had recruited someone who fell in love with someone from a different team, and they ended up getting married, and then this girl left Laura's team to go join the other team, and it was like a whole mess apparently. And I'm like, well, she got married. Like, it's not that, it's fine. Like, it's fine. So, yeah, so I didn't really like that. I didn't like them telling me what I could and couldn't do, who I could talk to and who I couldn't. And this had been a problem before. I had met someone at one of the meetings, and we hit it off, and I gave her my phone number so that we could hang out. And my mentor was like, yeah, you really can't be doing that. Like, you can't give people your number. And it's just like, what? So I didn't like that. And yeah, so I ghosted her, and I didn't went back to any of the meetings. I stopped responding to any of the messages. I deactivated everything shortly after that conference, when I was like, this is just not worth my time or my money, and I really don't like how cultish it's becoming, and how toxic it is, and how I'm being guilted into someone not being able to start a family because I'm not stepping up my game, or I don't know, it was just weird. So yeah, I mean, oh, and I forgot about this. Couple years after that, one of my friends who's a videographer ended up shooting one of their, like, weekend getaways, like, for Jackie and Greg and, like, the top dogs or whatever. And they flew him out of Arizona. They promised to pay him a certain amount of money, which they didn't. They, like, ended up paying half of that, and then they were, like, being really sketchy and weird about, like paying the rest of it. And then while, like, he was there, he was like, yeah, it was, like, really weird because, like, it was just, I had to follow them around with a camera, and basically all they talked about was how they can get richer off people. And here's the thing, like, these companies are big because, they get most of their money from people who join these companies, because you as, like, an associate, as a business owner, you keep buying these products to be able to stay like in that status, you know, or to even be able to stay in that team. And it's like people around you don't want to buy stuff. Like, they want to buy crap that they've never heard anything about, and they also don't want to be guilted about being guilted about buying these products, you know? Like, it's just weird. Like, these companies are just sketchy, and like their whole, like, I don't know. I just, honestly, guys, just be careful. Like, do a lot of research. Take this video as a cautionary tale. Take other videos on YouTube as a cautionary tale. Like, don't think it's not going to happen to you. Like, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be so, like, driven. And yeah, I worked hard, and I got zero payoff. Like, and I ended up losing some friendships over that because people were annoyed with me. So, yeah, don't do it. Alright, yeah, sorry this video was all over the place. It's just, you know, it's what it is. I just wanted to get this information out. Alright, okay, bye guys.